Hi, welcome to What I Show. I'm Marty, and there's interesting news on Bill Cosby. Not groundbreaking necessarily, but this is actually interesting as hell. For me, I'm an old political science major. I enjoy the minutia of politics and policy and process. So this article reads: Bill Cosby's civil trial jury must start deliberations over. I've never heard of that before, and not for these reasons. This is going to get interesting here, but it's not what you might think. It's so anyway. It's from Andrew Dalton, June 17th, 2022. Today's the 18th. It's the next day. Uh, Santa Monica, California AP. After 2 days of deliberations in which they reached verdicts on nearly all the questions put before them, jurors in a civil trial who are deciding on sexual abuse allegations against Bill Cosby will have to start Monday from scratch. I'm sorry, we'll have to start from scratch on Monday. By the end of the court day Friday, the Los Angeles County jury had to come to an agreement on whether Cosby had sexually assaulted plaintiff Judith Huth, Huth, at the Playboy Mansion when she was 16 in 1975, and whether Huth deserved any damages. In all, they had answered 8 of the 9 questions on their verdict form, but one that asked whether Cosby acted in a way that should require punitive damages. I guess that was the last one. Judge Craig Carlin, who had promised one juror when she agreed to serve that she could leave after Friday for a prior commitment, decided over the objections of Cosby's attorney to accept and read the verdict on the questions the jury had asked. But he had to change course when deputies at the Santa Monica courthouse appeared and required him to clear the courtroom. The courthouse had required closure time of 4:30 p.m. because of no budget for deputies' overtime. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's not impossible that this Huth lady might get screwed out of damages because the county or the municipality doesn't have the budget for overtime for their for their deputies. Wow, liberalism doesn't work. It just doesn't work. They can't get shit together. Incompetence reigns supreme. Carlin refused to require the departing juror, who has been chosen as foreperson, to return on Monday. So jurors will have to begin again with an alternate in her place. So that you can't. I hope they. I already read this. They need to clear that up. So because this is the foreperson, this other person can't come back because of other commitments. So one of the other jurors will have to take over as the foreperson, and they'll have to go to deliberations again. That's going to open up room for appeals on this, I guarantee. I don't know enough about it to say who would win the argument, but that does open up some breathing room here for defense attorneys. I won't go back on my word, Carlin said. It was a bizarre ending to a strange day of jury deliberations. It began with a note to the judge about what he called a personality issue between 2 of the jurors that was making their work difficult. After calling them to the courtroom and getting them to agree that every jury would be heard in discussions, the jurors resumed, but had a steady flurry of questions on issues with their verdict form that the judge and attorneys had to discuss and answer. One question was how to calculate damages. After lunch break, Cosby's lawyer Jennifer Bonjean, Bonjean, moved for a mistrial. See, there you go. Because of a photo. Oh my God, this is glorious. Because of a photo taken by a member of Cosby's team that showed a juror standing in close proximity to a Cosby accuser who had been sitting in the audience and watching the trial. And this turned out to be a nothing burger, but Carlin said the photo didn't indicate any conversation had happened and quickly dismissed the mistrial motion, getting assurances from the juror in question, then the entire jury that no one had discussed the case with them. The accuser, Los Angeles artist Libby Bernard, who has filed her own lawsuit against Cosby in New Jersey, denied speaking to any jurors. "I never spoke to any jurors, ever," Bernard told the judge from her seat in the courtroom. "I would never do anything to jeopardize this case. I don't even look at them." I'm sure you glanced at them a few times. Good catch by the attorneys, though. Carlin fought to get past the hurdles and have jurors deliberate as long as possible, and kept lawyers, reporters, and court staff in the courtroom ready to bolt as soon as the verdict was read. But it was fruitless in the end. Jurors had begun deliberating on Thursday morning after a two-week trial. Cosby, 84, who was freed from prison when his Pennsylvania criminal conviction was thrown out nearly a year ago, did not attend. He denied any sexual contact with Huth in a clip from a 2015 video deposition shown to jurors. Denial had been repeated throughout the trial by his spokesman and his attorney. A contentious closing argument, Bonjean urged the jurors to look past the public allegations against Cosby and considered the only trial evidence which he did not come close to proving his case. Whose attorney Nathan Goldberg told jurors Cosby had been held accountable for the harm he had done to his client. Cosby had to be held accountable for the harm done to his client. Associated Press does not normally name people they see sexually abused unless they come forward publicly. Both Huth and Bernard have come forward publicly. So that's just an interesting situation. Like, they're just wrapping it up, but they couldn't finish the deliberations because of budget. They don't have overtime for their security guards. Their deputies. Jeez. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Well, it's just interesting. The left hand is circle jerking the right hand and fingering the other hand in the ass, and this government needs to get its shit together. Just on the fucking basics. The judge has got to be looking at the clock and inform the judge, hey, we don't have money for overtime. We're not going to be here to protect you. When this shit goes south, if Bill Cosby's a big name, there's a crowd outside, there's nothing to be able to do about it. You need to wrap this shit up at 3. And they can't get their shit together. Fuck me. So, anyway, White Guy Show. Where's your mother and her kinky little ass? Cheers.